Hi, St. Thomas. This is a new look that probably a lot of us are getting used to. Um, and it's certainly something that's going to be standard apparel when eventually we have some semblance of normal in-person worship at St. Thomas. This is a mask that was made by Julie Regner. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate the style, and look forward to some people at church, I hope, making more homemade masks that we can use for worship services. Speaking of that, many of you will be aware that the bishop updated his pastoral directive, and as suspected, in-person worship is suspended. The suspension continues beyond the 10th of May. That's not a surprise. We knew that was going to be the case. But there's a three-phase plan which will be implemented. Right now we're in phase one, which is called hiatus. And when phase two is initiated, we'll be allowed to do some new things like open the office on a limited basis. We'll be able to use the church for live streaming, but in-person attendance would still not be allowed. Then in phase three, whenever that comes around, we'll have a little bit more ability to function in a normal way. I'm going to ask Carmel, our communications director, to include that directive with the video when it's released so that you can have a look at that yourself. There aren't any dates attached to the directive, mostly because that depends on the state of the virus and the public health situation. So if we see week on week declines in infections and a stabilization of the infection rate, then we'll start to move through those phases, I suspect. There's a lot of instructions in the directive about personal protective equipment, about cleaning and sterilizing the churches, and we will certainly be abiding by all of those recommendations and instructions. You might have heard that the choir has postponed their trip to the UK and to Europe. That was a really hard decision for the choir to make, but it was a wise decision on their part, and they will, I'm sure, look forward to the time when they can start planning possibly the summer of 2021 for a choir trip to England. A little bit of good news. The church applied through the CARES Act for a Paycheck Protection Plan loan, and we received that loan. It was upwards of $33,000, and that will go a long way to undergirding our finances during the pandemic. We'll use that money to make payroll and to pay our utilities and a few other things that are allowed by the terms of the loan. Thanks to those who are getting their donations into the church, either electronically or by mail. There are several ways to give, and we certainly appreciate the generosity of those who are helping support our ministry during this difficult time. Worship continues online and you can access that via our website, stthomasbc.org. There's also a lot going on in terms of communication on Realm, and if you haven't signed up to Realm, or if you're having trouble with that, please get in touch with me or with Carmel to resolve those issues. We're also continuing our phone tree, and we're starting a mailing out some things to people who we know don't have access online. So if you know someone who would benefit from that, please let us know. In the meantime, know that you're missed, and that you're loved, and that we look forward to seeing you one way or another in the near future. God bless you.